I'm not sure that global capitalism has some kind of alternative. In the way that the very notion of the real now is a big problem. Because when Lenin started October Revolution, he was absolutely sure that real can be changed, and he had a plan. Well, when there was a second wave of this revolution, it was 68. It was many experiences with love, with drugs, Timothy Leary. They also believed that they can change, because they believed that there is something to be changed. Now, unfortunately, we have a huge amount of people who don't believe it. And we should understand that there are some potentiality of the humans that are not exploited. Say, I have read a week ago about one Indian guy. His name is Prahlada Jani. The guy says, I have not eaten and drank water for 65 years. And now the Indian military have taken him to the hospital. And he is a part of the program of preparing these universal soldiers. Because they want, because he really does not eat, does not drink, he does not lose blood weight, and his kidneys produce urine, and this urine somewhat is disappearing in his organism. He is not poisoned. But Indian military, they say, we are not sure whether he is not eating and drinking for 65 years. But he was already hospitalized 10 years ago, and 3 weeks he did not, he's not eating. And for me, this guy, this Prahlada Jani, is a new man. There was an attempt to build up this new humankind in the Soviet Union, then in Cuba, then in other places. The guy he does not need anything, because and we need in this world, we really need more and more of course, not everybody will achieve what these guys have achieved. But his vision is completely different from our common vision. And we should also respect these possibilities which are in us.
So you see,
revolution is about them.
I agree with you on one point, the previous one, not this one. The previous one, that is a sad constatation, fact. And I agree completely on the fact. That is that few people, and not only in Croatia, not only in Europe, everywhere in the world, including in Venezuela, including in China, including in Russia, including in the successful and in the unsuccessful countries, do not see the future and do not believe in the future. This is a fact, a correct fact. But I think of few people. Gramsci had an answer to that thing. He says we had in the 20th century, Gramsci did not say that, I will say exactly what Gramsci said later. We had in the 20th century a first wave of emancipation through revolutions, more or less radical, through national liberation of the minority of 85% of humankind in Asia, Africa, and Latin America, a first wave. These first waves have produced tremendous things. It is this first wave which has changed the world to better and to worse simultaneously combined. This first wave is, the page is turned. The second wave is only starting. Call it socialism of the 20th century, since we are in the 20th century. It's a word, I don't disagree with it. The second wave is just beginning, possibly to start. The first wave is finished, the second wave is not started. We are in the hole. And Gramsci then said, when the night is finishing, but it's not yet finished, and the day is not yet come, then in the grey, appear ghosts, monsters. We are in such a period, and this is why we have ghosts and monsters. The ghosts are all, and monsters are the passéist illusions, whether ethnocracy, the ethnocracies that you have in former Yugoslavia, or political Islam, or the so-called Christian, I don't know what, in the United States, or all those things are ugly, terrible, but they are not, one should analyze why they are there, why they occupy the void. Because there is a void, and it is at that point that I say that there is an opportunity, a potential. I don't know if it will be used. I think, as usual in history, some people will make some use of it and other people will not, and to various degrees. But there is an opportunity precisely to move out of this grey period.
To what?
On the long road to communism, the long road, 2 centuries. I'm Egyptian, I'm not accustomed to consider that 1 or 2 centuries is a long period. It's a very short period in history. And you cannot have a higher level of civilization, which is communism, created in 15 years, building socialism, and blah blah of this time. It is one first step, which creates the conditions for a second step. Create the condition, but also can be defeated. Also.
But if you postpone this for 2 centuries, of course it's easy because nobody sitting here can ever prove.
I'm not postponing the struggle. The struggle for the future starts today. Yeah. But the result of the struggle for the future doesn't end tomorrow. It will take time, and we have to accept it. Unless we accept, if we don't accept it, we'll have remake of the dream of solving all problems in 5 years. Let us, we can leave that to the World Bank and go.
What should we do in the present?
A lot of things, but
for these 2 centuries ahead.
We start today and we change the things today by struggle. And the struggles will not bring socialism tomorrow, will bring socialist advances, revolutionary advances, which lead to the possibility of going beyond.
Yeah, it's very hard to see the message telling them that in 200 years maybe maybe something.
No. If we have strategic targets, we should have strategic targets, including for the short run. I can understand in Croatia a battle won by the new generation for re-establishing or preventing the privatization of education and health. And if this victory is, if they get this victory, then they will think of moving ahead.
It's interesting how slowly differences are emerging among us, because my problem with you is that I disagree, but not because I'm more optimist and think, no, there will be communism. I'm more of a pessimist. You say global capitalism is here to stay. I say, okay, more or less. I say, okay, but then in 100 years we are all there, more or less. I mean, you know what I mean? I'm more of a pessimist here. Look, are you aware what is effectively happening now? You know what is for me the symptom of what is happening today? Take the state as Congo, which is, I mean, when we speak about human tragedy, forget about like Palestina. I think that probably most of Congolese people would probably sell their mother into slavery to be able to move on the West Bank. It's a pure nightmare, Congo. But why? It's not primitive, dark Africa. If you look closely, the country precisely as such as the African black hole, no state functioning, is fully integrated into capitalism.
Cold trade.
Sorry?
They have this cold trade minds. And one of the reasons...
So this is why.